10 years ago, Peraliya was one of the worst-hit towns in the Indian Ocean Tsunami. A train derailed here, killing nearly everyone on board. It was one of my first big stories as a foreign correspondent. The town was mostly just empty dirt. Houses and trees were washed away. Nearly 1 in 7 residents died and others were leaving. 10 years later, I returned to see if Peraliya survived. We're going to walk into the town now and try to see who we can find from 10 years ago, but to be honest, I don't even know where to look because so much has changed. The houses that were under construction at the time are not in any way visible to me. Everything that I see in front of me here is totally different than it used to be. I started to see familiar places. A local temple, marshlands where bodies were found, now a lake. I also saw people I recognize, like Ipige Dharmadasa, a fisherman who helped coordinate relief in 2004. Now he's 74 years old. He said aid groups did bring lots of money, but locals fought over it. Houses that were built quickly fell apart in the rain. Many locals just moved away.
This is a house that was built by the Fisheries Ministry. As you see, it's half done, and there is another one over there. None of these houses were finished, and now they are abandoned. That was all they gave. This house was donated, but it was later abandoned. The family that lived here moved out because their son kept having nightmares.
Those who had lived closest to the shore were relocated by the government to a new village several kilometers away. They say they're happy with what the government has given them, but it's hard to make a living there.
Things have become harder since we moved here. At least when we're near the sea, we could catch and sell fish in the sea, but now we can't do that. So things are definitely harder here. Even when we are sick, the hospital is a long way off.
People also complain the government has wasted hundreds of millions of dollars on mega projects elsewhere, like a new port, convention center, an airport in the city of Hambantota further south, much of it financed with Chinese help. The government says the projects create jobs and opportunity. Yet somehow, a core part of Peraliya survived. Aid groups gave strong new boats, and locals say the fishing is actually better than before. Mr. Dharmadasa chalks it up to good karma. Peraliya also has its first medical clinic, funded by foreign donors. The school has expanded dramatically with Italian aid money and has its first computers. And the train is running again. So this is the train track where the train was famously derailed in 2004. Now, it wasn't just that the train itself was thrown away from the tracks. The tracks themselves were uprooted by the waves and pushed into the town. They've been replaced, and now everything you see is new. To thrive again, though, Peraliya needs to draw people back and keep its young people from leaving. Mr. Dharmadasa says the way to do that is to build Peraliya its own harbor, so fishermen don't have to go to other towns to launch their boats, as they do now.
If the harbor is actually built, it would be a positive development for us. Many people moved away because they were scared, and they may come back because the breakwater would be an additional protection to the village. I think the village will grow.
Mr. Dharmadasa has been fighting for government money for a harbor for 35 years. This year, he says, officials finally agreed to pay about $2.3 million. He shaved his beard in celebration. But he knows he has to keep the pressure on to make sure the government fulfills its promise. He intends to stay at it. It's a reminder that for any community to survive, its own people must believe in its future.
For us, it is the same whether we live or die. I'm 74 now. If I live, it's the same. If I die, it's the same. But we must win this. I will die fighting for this.